Okay, so my experience with leveling, I remember that in my classroom we were leveled, but not in the classroom. I think the leveling happened when we went into the library because we did get tested and stuff in class, but we got to choose off of our reading level when we were in the library. So if you were at the lower reading level, you'd pick out from the bottom shelf, and then or you weren't allowed at the nonfiction section. So as you got up in level, then you could move on to the nonfiction side, which was weird. I don't understand that, but I do remember feeling like, oh my gosh, I can't read at the level that these other people read because I was always at the bottom shelf. But I also know of students who were good readers, but for some reason, like, I don't know if they just didn't do good in testing, but they would want to stay at the lower level. So I think that like finding leveling is helpful because you don't want children to become too frustrated when they're reading, but you also don't want them to become bored. So if it's too easy, they'll be bored. If it's too hard, they'll be frustrating. So I think that finding that reading level and using it for that specific reason is helpful. But I was reading in the textbook that authors don't sit down and say, oh, I'm going to write this book for this specific reading level, because obviously they're writing to send a message or tell a story. So many times like the leveling doesn't go with the writing. It doesn't fit. So it could seem very easy and it's at a high level, which makes no sense. So I think that in some ways leveling is helpful. Like I said, if you need to find a book that's going to fit a student so that it's not too challenging, but it's not too easy. And I think that one way that this could be, I do think it's an effective practice for that reason that I just stated. But I think that one thing that I thought was really interesting was when I observed a kindergarten classroom last year. The teacher, she had like bags for each student, and she would test the student out of the books in that bag. But she also had a library, and the library had like all kinds of books, like different kinds of books. And so when the students were allowed to go read, they would be able to pick out of whatever book they wanted. So I thought that was cool because she's still testing them based on a level, but she's also not telling them like the whole class isn't like aware of that level. Like for example, us, we knew where level you were on based on where you were searching in the library. If you were on the bottom bookshelf, you were at the bottom level. If you were in the nonfiction, you were reading at a higher level. So it was just like obvious. Whereas in these bags, she's individually testing you, having you read different books that are at your level, and then help you grow like that. But she's also giving you the option of reading, whatever book you are interested in reading. So she's not like saying, you're only capable of reading this, which I also think is like a message we shouldn't be sending, that, oh, you're reading at this level, so stick with this. So I think that was cool that she kept it separate. So I'll test you here, but you're also free to read here. And I think that that's something that could be an effective practice, and I will definitely use in the classroom. So I think leveling applies to, the 5-finger rule. I also forgot to mention that I remember that they said that if 5 words on any page you can't read, then the book is too hard, and then 0 to 1, it's too easy. So I think just like focusing on the students' strengths and just helping them grow, so that you're encouraging reading and using leveling in a way that you're not kind of like blocking a kid's opportunities, if that's how you say, like so you're definitely like using it for educational purposes, but you're also telling them, hey, look, you're capable of reading more if you want to look into reading these other sections. So yeah, that's basically my experience with and what I learned about leveling.